Welcome to the Vacation Races and Friends podcast, a podcast about events, travel, and the people who love both. Find more episodes at vacationraces.com. Welcome back to the Vacation Races and Friends podcast. I'm Colleen, the race announcer for Vacation Races. Excited to be talking Saguaro Half Marathon. Lyle Anderson, race director, in with me today. Lyle.
Hello, Colleen.
Whew, it's been a process getting here. We're going to jump into that. But before we do, we've released another podcast, and it is a first-timer orientation welcome podcast. It's all for those of you who have never run with Vacation Races before. We're unique, right? We've got some different things.
We try our best.
We do. We try our best to stand out, and that is all going to help you with your first experience with Vacation Races. So we encourage you to pause right here, go back into your podcast app and find that first timer welcome orientation. Give that a listen. It'll really help you kind of set up the whole, what is Vacation Races? And then jump back in here, and we're going to specifically talk about Saguaro. There's a lot of different things we have to get through today that are very specific to this race and to this area, and of course to the situation that we're in down there in Arizona. So without further ado, Lyle, kind of walk me through, we opened this Saguaro Half Marathon. I remember when you went down there and you're like, Colleen, this course is so great. It's amazing.
Gosh, I was so excited.
You were so excited. You sent back these amazing pictures and I'm like, wow, this is going to be great. We opened this event. People were so excited about it. Of course, we're still dealing with some COVID-19, which threw some interesting
definitely been a few twists and turns.
Blog updates
here
that we've seen at vacationraces.com. So give me the kind of 911, 411, not the 911.
We don't want a 911.
It felt like a 911
it did
for a
feel
while.
like a 911.
But here we are. So where are we?
So we opened up registration, like Colleen said, and everything was going good. There was a lot of excitement, and the health department kind of said, well, we've got some restrictions that we want to impose on you.
We have some concerns.
So they didn't like our numbers, especially for a single day event, and so they came back with us with some restrictions. Originally, it was only 300 people a day that they wanted to allow us to do, which that doesn't work for us. So they did come back and increase that to 500 a day, with the chance that they would increase it to 800 a day. And so we talked about it, Dane and I did, and the rest of us internally at Vacation Races, and thought, well, can we make this a 2-day event? And so we reached out to all of you guys and just said, look, this is where we're at. This is what they're allowing us to do. We put out a survey, and a lot of you said, if you make it a 2-day event, like I can run, Saturday or Sunday or Friday, and it seemed overwhelmingly that everybody was able to do a Saturday or Sunday type option. So we made the decision to make it a 2-day event, which kind of sucked for us because everybody was already signed up for a Saturday event, and honestly, this is unprecedented,
right,
for us at
we
Vacation
hope to
Races.
Never do this again.
We don't ever want to do this again. Like when we open up registration and we say this is what we're doing, like we want to be the guys that do what we say we're going to do. Like, we want to be a people of conviction.
But can we shout out to our followers, our runners, our participants? They've been great.
Shout out to you guys all day long. You guys are amazing.
They have been great through this process.
Yes.
And Vacation Races, something that's very, I know, near and dear to yours and to Dane's and to Salem's heart, is to be really transparent and to throw surveys out there and really get runner feedback and let them behind the curtain a little bit on some of these processes that you might not see with other companies.
Well, because we've all been there. You've done races.
Absolutely.
I've done races. We've done it for years, and it's always this like guessing game. Like, what are they going to do? Like, are they going to cancel this race? Are they going to do this? So like for us to just be transparent, and let you guys know, like, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're up against. Like, there's no reason to keep that from you guys. Like, we want like I hate to sound cliche and be like we're a family, but we are. We're a family. Like we're all in this together. Like from us executing the race and you guys coming to run it, like we are in this together. Yeah. So like, there's no reason to be bashful or shy about like the truth. Like the truth is something that
it's hard to put on races in 2021.
It is. And like, but honestly, I feel like, us being honest with you guys at least is going to help you feel a little bit more confident that we're putting our best foot forward and that we're not trying to just take the easy way out.
The runners have been incredibly supportive of that. And so thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for helping us out. And as we got everybody sorted into 2 days,
right.
That takes some logistics on your end. So thank you for being willing. There were so many people I saw on Facebook, Lyle, who were like, oh, I can make a Sunday work. I don't need to be home.
Well, and I've had a flood of people emailing me, like offering to help with volunteering, to run aid stations and stuff, which thank you so much for that. Like we were having a hard time finding a group to help us cover aid stations. And luckily we were able to find a local group to cover our aid station needs, which I was super grateful for. But I'm super grateful that so many of you are willing to reach out and offer to come and help out on the day that you weren't running. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. And as we get into this 2-day event and how it's going to work, we want you to realize that we don't see it as 2 separate events. It is one event. This is the Saguaro Half Marathon. This is the inaugural year. We want it to be exactly the same whether you run on Saturday or Sunday. You wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
You're going to have the same experience. And
I mean, you will know the difference.
You will, but you won't. We want you to
when you log in to look at the results, you're not going to know that.
You're not going to know. And so we're going to have the same experience for you no matter when you come to us.
Right.
And we're going to really dive into that in these 2 days. So we have runners who are going to be experiencing this race on Saturday and on Sunday. That information has all been sent out and it's been chosen. You've got it in your email. So you know. If there are any questions or concerns about that, info@vacationraces.com. That's where you need to go for any questions like that. So 2 days, but Lyle, in this 2 days, we're working with Pima County. Thank you to Pima County for letting us to host this event.
They've been amazing to work with. Like I realize that all of us are just trying to problem solve and figure out our way around. Like that's been the name of the game for the last year.
I don't think they like COVID-19 either.
No, nobody does. But like the biggest thing that we all have to figure out is like, okay, how can we safely do this?
Yes,
and still conduct our lives. Like we all want to get back to normal, lives. But in the meantime, like we need to be safe. And so like we're just trying to figure out workarounds for all this stuff. So.
Exactly. So the thing is we do need to be compliant though.
Right.
Because Pima County is looking at us. We've never done a race in their county before. And they're saying, hey, you've got a great reputation in vacation races.
Right.
And we're going to let you go forward with this. So what that means for you guys is we're going to ask you to do some things.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of pressure on our shoulders to perform at this point because we've said how amazing our COVID plan is, but also more importantly, how amazing our runners are at being respectful to whatever plans we implement. And so because of that, at some of our other events, we've been able to be pretty lax, as far as like, if you want to start in this wave, you can. If you want to do this, you can. That's not going to be the case for this one. Like this one, we have very strict basic rules, that we have to abide by.
And we're going to be policing them. Generally, we say to you, hey, if you need to switch something, no big deal. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal at this one.
And the county health department is going to be there policing it as well. So obviously, we're going to have Big Brother looking over our shoulders. So like we got to make sure that we're doing everything we say we're going to do.
But we want to be back in Pima County next year.
Absolutely.
So, we rely on you guys.
This event's got a lot of potential.
It does.
And we really want to see it on a normal year where we can all run on the same day. So
it would be great. So yes, you're going to hear us talk about some policing of waves. You're going to hear us talking about wristbands and about 50-person wave starts. Just know these are the things that your compliance is going to make a huge difference with.
Yeah. I hate to put all the pressure on your shoulders, but it really will make or break whether we're allowed to come back next year. So we just really appreciate your understanding and your cooperation with helping us execute this crazy plan that we're doing here.
But it's still going to be good. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be good. Let's jump in, Lyle. Bib pickup Friday, right? Just like normal.
Yep.
So we're going to have bib pickup. Can you tell me kind of briefly what the location of this is and how bib pickup's going to work?
So the bib pickup, the start, finish line, all that staging is going to be at Old Tucson there in Tucson, which is, for those of you that aren't familiar with what Old Tucson is, just go watch Three Amigos or some of the old westerns. I think Tombstone was filmed there. There's a lot. So it's the main
street in any western movie.
It's actually a really cool place. Unfortunately, we don't. So long story short, this is a studio set. It's an outside studio set, and Pima County owns the property, and they've had somebody leasing it basically, and kind of running it almost like an amusement park, like to come and like go on tours of the old West here, the old Tucson movie set, and then this last year with COVID, visitation basically plummeted, dropped off to nothing. So the people that were renting it basically didn't renew their lease. So it's not being leased right now, which means that it's not covered under the county's insurance. So which is why we can't which is why we can't utilize the props, the sets and stuff for our finish line. But like on a normal year, when somebody is renting it, hopefully, then ideally we could have our finish line come right down the old main street. It's going to be amazing. That's what we want.
So we got to get through 2021.
We got to get to where all the stars align so we can make it pretty epic and amazing.
We can do that. So back to Friday, bib pickup.
Yeah, so we'll be using the parking lot there at Old Tucson. It's going to be set up just like for anybody that's done any of our other races in the past year with the drive up bib pickup. It's going to be the same process where you just pull up. We'll have a tent set up where you can grab your bib, and then you'll pull up to the next tent, get your race shirts, and then make your way on out of the parking lot. And
hydro pouches,
hydro pouches, all that stuff. We will have a merchandise tent set up there as well. If you want to stop and grab some merchandise, some of our race merchandise, and then you'll leave the parking lot on Friday. The bib pickup's going to go from 2 to 7.
Okay.
On Friday.
Okay.
If you're unable to get there Friday,
right? I'm racing Saturday morning. I don't get there Friday.
You can pick it up Friday morning starting at 4 a.m.
Great. I'm racing Sunday. I come in on Saturday.
Don't come on Saturday. Come on Sunday morning.
Okay.
We're gonna have enough going on Saturday with the different waves starting, coming and going. Honestly,
just hang tight.
Just hang tight. Come get it Sunday morning. It's not gonna make a difference.
And it will be really easy. Yeah. Don't worry about that. We do bib pickup day of all the time, and it's not going to be a big deal.
So Friday's going to be ideal. If you can make it in there Friday to get it, then great. If not, just come the morning of your race that you're starting at 4 a.m. and you can grab your bib.
And we've been so successful with this drive-through bib pickup. We've done many iterations of it. We started it back at Rocky Mountain last year. Bryce. That's right. Bryce Ultra back in May of 2020. Yeah. So, it's worked so well, and it's actually really efficient, and it gets people in and through. But we will have race merchandise available. If you want to go shop, put a mask on, go over and shop. We ask that you mask up whenever you're in a group of people.
Right.
We need to have that. Make sure you carry a mask with you, but merchandise is going to be there. You can shop just like normal. Right. So
yeah, to that point, like whenever you're like, even on race morning, when you're in your starting queues, which we'll get to here in a minute.
Yeah.
But we do recommend that everybody have a mask in those congregating areas.
Yeah. So now one thing that's different about this bib pickup is you're not just going to get a bib, Lyle, you're going to get a wristband.
Right.
This is new. We've never done wristbands before. Explain to me what this wristband is and what it's going to do.
Perfect. Yeah. So those of you that ran with us before, you know that you're basically going to have a colored shield or dot on your bib, which is assigning you to a wave. And it's the same
start wave.
Yeah, your start wave. And it's going to be this. It's no different for this race. You're going to be assigned a starting wave. The wristband is basically just going to coincide with that, with whatever wave you're assigned to. So the wristband is just an easier visual for us to identify which wave you're in. So when we're telling people to make their way over to the starting queue, before you leave the parking lot, we're going to be checking your wristbands. And if it's not your color's wave to be heading up there, then you stay in your car. Like we're not going to have, there's nowhere for anybody to congregate in the starting queue. We'll have a series of 4 different queues that you're going to be working your way through. But until it's your wave's turn to get called to the starting queue, you'll just stay in your car.
So that wristband is your entry into those queues.
Yep.
And so it's going to be really important with those wristbands. Your bib's important because it's got your timing chip on it.
Right.
That wristband's important. So make sure you have that. My recommendation, as soon as you go through drive-through bib pickup, just put the band on.
Right.
Just put it on your, like they do at Ironman.
Right.
Ironman's really
Right.
good. They put on your athlete bracelet and you don't take it off for the rest of the weekend.
Right.
And
when
so
you finish the race, you can rip it off.
Exactly. So
if you can pull it off.
and you probably can. You want to wear it for a couple of
Right.
days. So have that wristband, get it right on your wrist so that you won't forget it. Of course, if you do forget it, need a wristband, bib pickup is the place that you're going to go race morning to go and take care of that. So the wristband is that new thing that you're going to see at Saguaro.
Right.
And if you run on Saturday or Sunday, it's a different wristband for Saturday versus Sunday. So if you run on Saturday, it's going to be designed a little bit differently on Sunday. So you're not going to be able to get it with your wristband.
Right.
So it will be identifying you for which day that you're on so that our volunteers will help us. I hate to use the term policing, but I guess that's
kind of just nature of what it is right now.
Just what it is.
We just have to be
as we're policing.
Like I said earlier, like normally we can be pretty accommodating, but this particular time we just have to be a little bit more strict. So
all right. So we got our bibs. We picked them up. We did some shopping. We went home. We had a good night's sleep. I have a Saturday start. So I'm coming to the race morning. There's some traffic impact that morning, Lyle.
Right.
So walk me through that.
It's mostly going to affect anybody after the first group.
Okay.
But I don't know. Actually, anything starting at 6 a.m. is when they're going to be basically shutting down or implementing the traffic control plan.
Because this race is going to cross the road at a certain point.
And so only northbound traffic is going to be allowed into Old Tucson, which means you're going to have to basically drive up from Ajo up to Old Tucson.
Okay.
And so you'll want to familiarize yourself with those roads and stuff and make sure that you're familiar with your route and how you're going to get there, because the runners are going to be running in the southbound lane. And so the county DOT is just letting us own that southbound lane. So all vehicle traffic is going to be kicked over to the northbound lane, and only northbound traffic
that
is going
direction
to be allowed. So when you come to the race, you're going to come northbound. When you leave the race, you're going to leave driving northbound.
Okay.
So you're entering the parking lot and you're exiting the parking lot are all basically going to be going the same direction.
Okay.
So how you get back to your hotel or wherever you're staying after the race is going to be different than how you got there.
A little bit of a roundabout way.
So you just need to kind of familiarize yourself with what that's going to look like.
Okay.
But I'm sure that the signage will make it pretty easy as far as like where you can go and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So just be aware of that. So you mentioned how this is really going to impact people after the first wave. Let's talk about this wave start.
Right.
We have a wave start. If you've run with us in 2020, you're getting more familiar with this wave start. In your race guide, you are going to see a wave schedule. And that wave schedule is going to give you a breakdown of when you should park, when your start time is going to be, and how we're going to call you to the start. So you talked about the bib color or the wave color, excuse me. You've got that wristband. I've got a blue wristband on. Right. So I know I'm in the first wave. I have a certain time that I need to park by. I have a certain time that I'm going to be starting at. I sit in my car. I can listen to the radio and I can listen to the transmitter waiting for my time to come to the start line. It's just that simple. Just follow this little chart, and whether you're in the first wave or you're down in the fourth or fifth wave, it's going to give you a different time to be there.
Right.
So it's pretty simple. And
kind of like what I was saying earlier too. Like if you're picking up your bib, there's no reason for you to be there if you're not starting until one of the last groups. There's no reason to be there right when the parking lot opens in the morning to get your bib. Show up there closer to when you're assigned to park.
Because bib pickup
you'll have plenty of time to go get your bib between
bib
when you
pickup
park.
will be in the parking lot area. And we're going to have some coffee, some hot chocolate like we always have in that same area right where you're parking. So you can get out with your mask on, go to the bib pickup, go get some hot chocolate, hot coffee.
Go use the bathroom.
Pick up a gear check bag. And then when it's time to go to your specific wave, then we're going to start into this queue. It's going to be kind of like a conveyor belt is how it's going to move. There's only going to be 50 people who can start at a time. Of course, waves are a little bit bigger than 50 people.
Right.
So it's going to be broken down. Explain how that's going to work. I'm in the blue wave. You've called me to the start line. I got my wristband on. I got my bib on. I'm holding my gear check bag. I'm headed for the queues.
Yeah. So we have a series of 4 queues. So basically, like Colleen said, there's only 50 people that are going to be allowed in each of these queues. And so about every 10 minutes or so, we'll be calling the next group up to the queues. And when that happens, we'll start a group, and then everybody will just move from queue number 4 to queue number 3. The people in queue 3 will move to queue number 2, and then the people in queue 2 will move over to queue 1, which is going to be the starting queue. And then they'll start, and we'll bring another person up. And so like, it's just going to be like Colleen said, like a conveyor belt, just be moving through there about every 10 minutes or so. If you picked up a drop bag in the parking lot before, or sorry, not drop bag, a gear check bag. If you picked up a gear check bag for your gear check, you can drop that in queue number 2 right before you move into the starting
Great.
queue.
So you don't need to take your clothes off before you get into these queues.
Right.
You got a sweatshirt on because it's chilly outside. Right. That's fine.
Right.
Hang on to it.
And basically where you drop that in queue 2 is where it's going to be when you finish the race. So it'll be right next to where you finish and the finish line exit is. So it'll be easy for you to grab right before you make your way back down to the car after you finish the race.
Okay. So the queue system really, and I know it might sound complicated as we're talking through it. Basically, you just need to get yourself with your wristband to that starting queue area. We're going to take it from there. Right. We'll get you in groups of 50, have your mask on. We'll get you to your start line.
Because everybody's going to be moving queues every like 10 minutes or so, all that stuff that you're going to need to do before you race is all going to be down in the parking lot before you make your way to that queue. So like toilets, coffee, hot chocolate, all that stuff, like we were talking about, gear check bags. And then you can just take that bag with you. And then as you're working from Q4 to Q3 to Q3 or Q2, you can just start taking off your sweatshirt. And then, like I said, you'll have 10 minutes or so in Q2, and you can just chuck your bag before you move over into the starting queue. And we will have, there should be 2 porta potties in each of those
queues as well.
So all except for the starting queue.
Because there was somebody who's like, but I need to go to the bathroom right before. It's going to be fine. We're going to take care of you on that. So we'll have some bathrooms.
So make sure, like, if you need to take care of business, do that in the parking lot before you make your way up there. But if it just hits you while you're up there, like there's going to be a couple bathrooms in each of those queues too that you can use. So
great. Now you get to the start line. Let's talk a little bit just through the start line. We have a 2-day race, but all awards are going to be based off of just everyone's chip time.
Yeah.
So whether you're running for overall awards, male, female, masters, everybody's on chip time.
Right.
So those results are going to be compiled into one big set of results.
Right.
And so it doesn't really matter where you start. You can still be competitive for your age group or for the overall awards.
Yeah, exactly. And like normally, like in a normal year, we always tell people if you're going for overall awards, to line up at the starting line, toe the line, and that goes off of gun time. But like this year, because it's spread out over 2 days and
we only have
waves,
50 people in a queue.
So there's no way that we can actually keep that and have that even be a competitive thing. So chip time.
Chip time is everything that you need there. So that's the chip is on your bib. And then of course you've got that wristband on. Masks, we again want them whenever you're in congregations, when you're in the queue, when you're at bib pickup, when you're shopping for merchandise. But when you're running, you don't need to have a mask on. Just, keep it with you so that you have it at the finish line, but mask required when we're in large groups or maybe if an aid station's really busy, but you do not have to run with a mask on. That's always a question that we have. Now, let's talk through, before we get on past this start line, Lyle, again, we're usually pretty good about, hey, if you want to run with your husband who's in a different wave than you, it's usually not a problem. It's going to be at Saguaro.
Right.
So
there's some obvious reasons for that. One, the county doesn't want anybody really passing anybody. Like that's why
on the actual course.
Yeah, like that's because that obviously adds to congestion, right? On the course. So like the way we've got it broken down based on your estimated finish time is assuming that you are keeping that pace. And so we want to make sure that like by running everybody in those assigned waves, it's a trickle of runners instead of a trickle and then a clump of runners that just catches up to a big cluster of runners and then can't get around them on the trail. And then the other thing is like there's a lot of cactus on this trail. And
there's cholla, there's jumping cholla.
There's everything. There's everything. There's a lot of biodiversity in this desert. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really is pretty amazing. But like to that point, it's really not safe for you to be
getting off
the trail trying to pass somebody. So, a couple main things, as far as like runner etiquette go to just be mindful of is if you're a slower runner and you can hear somebody breathing down your neck, like be mindful they want to pass you and find a safe place that you can step off and allow them to pass you. And then 2, if you are trying to pass somebody, make sure that they're aware of it because maybe they have headphones in and they can't hear you too. So like, don't physically touch them and move them out of your way. Like we don't ever
don't do that.
We don't ever want to hear of anybody doing it. It's happened. And nothing upsets me more than hearing that somebody was pushed out of the way by a faster runner that wants to get around them. Like, just be respectful of everybody. That's all we ask.
And our wave assignments take into consideration your projected finish time.
Right.
So again, just we would love to switch all around and make everybody happy. We're not going to be able to.
Right.
Whatever your bib is assigned to, whatever your wristband's assigned to, that's where we need you to stick to.
Right.
So just work with us on that, and we'll get you out on the course. And the course, you talked about it. It's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to have our typical aid stations, our 6 aid stations out there.
Right.
We're going to have a loose clothing drop at that is it about mile 3? Is that where their first aid station's coming?
Right. Yeah. It'll be right as they cross, Gates Pass Road.
Okay.
Yeah, so right as they cross,
you will have
Pass.
a loose clothing drop. So say you left your big jacket and your sweatpants back at gear drop at where you're going to collect it at the finish. You started in the long sleeve. You decided you want to go with the tank top because it's Arizona and it's March and it's going to be great. You can drop that in the loose clothing and we'll get that back to you at the finish line. So 6 aid stations. We'll have our water, our gnarly hydrate electrolyte drink out there. I love that you brought up the cactus. I think that's something really important. You don't want to trip and fall in a cactus.
No, and definitely there are some cactuses. You kind of briefly mentioned the cholla jumping cactus. You know, like those things they don't take a whole lot of brushing up to them to
and you'll
really
have one
on.
right in your clothing. And
they'll take a bite out of you. They'll stick around for a while too. But yeah, there's a lot of beautiful biodiversity here. A lot of different types of desert plants that you probably didn't even know existed. And that's really what makes this course unique and beautiful too. Is just like, this is a different type of desert running that you're not going to get to experience many other places. So
there's a reason why this is a national park.
Right,
I mean, there's a reason why it's there, and we are so excited to take you there. I'm excited. I've never been down into Pima County and into Tucson and into this national park, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And one thing I would highly recommend to everybody that's participating in this event, whether it be the day you run, the day before you run, the day after you run, or whatever, like I was saying earlier, all the traffic heads northbound on race day,
right?
Which takes you right by the Sonoran Desert Museum, which is a great place to go and really kind of have them explain the whole Sonoran Desert and like what makes it tick and what makes it unique too. Like it's honestly totally worth the visit. Like,
it's very fascinating. Well, and that kind of leads us into another thing that we do with Vacation Races is we have our Spark Challenge app. This is in your race guide. It's also in our first timer orientation podcast. But just a brief mention, download the Spark Challenge app and make sure to join our Explorer Club. It's a chance for you to earn some extra swag, but it also gives you suggestions like Lyle's giving you of things to do in this area and how to make your trip in this national park really amazing. It gives you suggestions from restaurants to hikes to do to museums to go and visit. So the Spark Challenge app is what you want to download before you even get there. And another app that you might want to download while you're downloading things is the RaceJoy app. That's a tracking app that we use, and you can use that to help anyone who's tracking you to track you while you're out there on that. So RaceJoy is one that you want to get downloaded as well. We always like to load some special messages on it as well for you. So RaceJoy, you start it when you start your race, and then your spectators can also download it and track you. And if you get your headphones in, you'll get some special messages. But being out on the course, Lyle, we're a lot of times in the past year, we've been able to start our pace group between the 3:30 and the 4-hour pace group first.
Right.
But, and I don't want to call them our walkers. I hate to use that term because it's not. I've jogged plenty of things and run plenty of things. And it just depends on the terrain. But this is our slower pace groups. We're not going to be able to start them ahead of our other groups. So talk through kind of their situation at this event.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Like normally we again, to kind of reiterate, we've been able to be pretty accommodating to the slower pace groups and stuff at our events and giving them a little extra time on the course.
Sure.
And this is not going to be one of those cases where we're going to be able to do that. So the way we're going to have to line everybody up is fastest to slowest pace times.
Keeps everybody safe.
Keeps everybody safe. And so like it drags the event out a little bit. But like, who cares? We're spreading it out over 2 days anyway.
Yeah, so it's going to be good. So the dark green wave, we're talking about the dark green wave.
Forest green wave.
In particular. And so you'll see them and you'll have you'll have times that are in that wave start time that you're going to find in your race guide, and it's going to be towards the end. You'll still have 4 hours on the course.
Right.
You still have that minimum the pace time that you can keep. Don't worry about that.
Right.
So you'll still have everything you need. You'll still have the full 4 hours, but
there just won't be any early
There's
starting.
not an option for early starting.
No. So like if you come to us on Friday when you're picking up your bib and you're worried about like, oh, I just need more time, like, I'm sorry, like we just aren't going to be able to accommodate that for this race.
Yeah,
like,
we can't. So
you'll have as much time as you need starting at the time that we allow you to start. So.
Yeah, and we don't start that 4 hour clock until everybody starts.
Right.
So we'll make sure we get everybody out on the course first. We will have some pacers out there. Beast Pacing will have some pacers out on the course.
On both days.
Right. So both days. Again, this event, we want it to feel no different from Saturday to Sunday.
Right.
It's just going to be.
Yeah, we're not starting the fastest runners on Saturday and then the slowest. Like it's going to be an even mix on both days.
Yeah, so it will be just as competitive. If you're looking for that, you'll have plenty of friends out there. So it'll be really good. I am really excited for this event, and that Pima County's let us come down there and we're able to pull this off. And we just need your compliance with these little things. Anything else that you can think of, Lyle, that we should hit on specific to any of these new COVID changes or any policies?
No, I mean, like the main thing that I just want to reiterate to everybody is that like this course is kind of a hybrid course. So we are going to be running some of it on road and some of it on trail. And so just being aware of that. Like we've had some races where people like to ask us, what kind of shoes do I need? Do I need trail shoes? Do I need road shoes? And quite honestly, this is one of those races that like it doesn't really matter. Like whatever your preference is. Like the trail portions you're going to be running, you're not going to. There's no magic, recipe for putting a pair of trail shoes on when you're running on dirt.
And it's not real technical trail either.
No. There are some sections that may have some rocks and maybe even a little loose gravel, but like nothing that a road shoe isn't going to be able to handle.
Okay.
So just be aware of that. Like Colleen said earlier, like you're going to have probably the first, it's about first 7 miles or so that are going to be on trail. And then from there, you're going to be turning onto road, and it's going to be a great, like, I say it's almost just downhill for a big chunk of that once you get back on the road at that point.
Nice.
So first 7 miles is going to be probably a little bit more challenging on some trails.
But that's where the scenic comes in.
Right. You're going to be right there among all those those cacti and
good stuff.
And hopefully you don't run into any
jumping cholla.
Yeah, jumping cholla.
It's a jumping cholla. Just you should just go and Google jumping cholla. Oh my gosh. Don't get caught by a jumping cholla.
They jump at you just like porcupine throw their quills at you too.
Yeah, exactly, right. Because they shoot straight out of their back.
They'll fire at you. They can launch themselves.
We are teasing you, and there's no jackalopes in this desert either.
What?
So no,
I've seen them.
No, you have not.
There's chupacabra too.
Yeah, watch out for those. I mean, you find those dead bodies everywhere down there in Arizona.
Everywhere.
It's going to be great. It's such a different event for us, and we're excited to be down there. We're excited that it actually has come through, and we're able to take you guys there. If you do have any questions about this event, again, you can go straight to Lyle at vacationraces.com, info@vacationraces.com. We're here to help you out and make it great. Award ceremony, we're going to mail out everything. There's not going to be a particular award ceremony, so you're going to get some extra things. We will have race merchandise. Everybody always wants to know if they can get their swag. It'll be there. It's in the parking lot. You'll be able to shop as much as you want to for this. And
and kind of like what we've talked about earlier too, is like really familiarize yourself with the race guide. There is going to be a pretty unique layout to how everything's going to flow on race day, with the starting cues and also how you'll finish. And there's two different paths. There's a path from the parking lot up to the starting cues, and then there's a path from the finish line back down to the parking lot.
Yeah.
Not the same path. So like you got to make sure these paths are both, one directional paths. Right. So like traffic only goes one way on each of these paths. So like I said,
the whole event's going to be kind of like that. It's kind of like a one-way street all the way around.
We'll be running southbound and traffic will be driving northbound.
So it'll be good. I'm excited. I mean, you've been out there and seen it, Lyle. What's final thoughts on it? What's your recommendation for people? My
recommendation would be to have a good camera with you.
All right.
So, I take some really good pictures. And the only other thing that I wanted to kind of touch on that we hadn't really talked about is like what you can expect to find at the aid stations. It's really it's really no different than any of our other races. Like Colleen said, we'll have 6 aid stations, and each of them are going to have water and gnarly as your electrolyte drink and honey stinger gels. And then we'll have at our mile 11-ish aid station, we'll have some cut up fruit, bananas and oranges as well. So like and then we'll have toilets at all of the aid stations.
Yes, you will have toilets.
So we want to make sure that everybody knows that they'll be well taken care of on this race, and also when you finish the race, there's again, we would love nothing more than for everybody to just hang out around the finish line and cheer everybody on, but that's just not how this race is going to be. Like when you finish the race, you'll make your way back down that path to the parking lot, and we'll see you at another event.
Yeah, we should have a big virtual meetup afterwards.
Like everybody can just
open
log
a Zoom room and let everybody log in so we can all talk about it. Could you imagine
everybody having to try and yell over everybody?
No, nobody would be able to talk at all. We'd have to go into the little rooms, the Zoom room groups, and we look
fascinating
forward.
Concept.
We look forward to the next time that we're able to have a large group together. But in the meantime, we're so happy to be able to be out on these beautiful trails, especially a brand new race in 2021 when so many companies are still not able to get racing off the ground. Here we are with Vacation Races with a brand new race. Yes, it's had its challenging moments, but we're going to get there.
So is the whole past year. So
I know, and it's so
but
we can handle it.
Things are improving.
They are.
It is looking more and more promising. So
they are. So thank you guys so much.
Hang in there a little bit longer.
For all your patience through this process. Again, reach out to us with any questions. Social media, Lyle at vacationraces.com, info at vacationraces.com. And we're excited to see you down there. It's going to be an exciting weekend down there and a new national park for me. I've never been down there.
Oh, lucky you.
I know. I get to tick it off my list.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Big thanks. So thank you guys so much. Again, we'll see you at the Saguaro Half Marathon 2021 with Vacation Races. You've been listening to the Vacation Races and Friends podcast. We love your feedback. Email podcast@vacationraces.com with comments, concerns, or stories you'd love to share. Make sure to watch for more episodes coming soon to vacationraces.com. This episode was produced by Colleen Rue in the Festival Sound Studio. For information about music licensing, contact Dane at vacationraces.com.